Part 4. Spiritual Path. I've disappeared from myself and my attributes. I am present only for you. I've forgotten all my learnings, but from knowing you, I've become a scholar. I've lost all my strength, but from your power, I am able. I love myself. I love you. I love you. I love myself. Jalaluddin Rumi. March 31st, 2019. The Virgin Mother. In my dream, I find myself with my family in the old Sololaki apartment where I spent my childhood. My daughter S is with me. I'm filled with an inexplicable anxiety for her, and I fervently appeal to the hierarchy of light forces, praying that one of them might offer personal guidance and protection. I find myself drawn especially to the Virgin Mary, praying intensely to her. Suddenly, S drops into a deep sleep, collapsing directly onto the floor. My husband swiftly carries her to bed. As she dreams, I try to decipher her murmured words, hoping to find some sign that my prayers have been acknowledged. Her speech is elusive, but I distinctly make out the word communion and a sense of wonderment. Just as abruptly as she fell asleep, S awakens. She rises and heads to the table. I follow, eager to learn of her dream. However, her revelation is far from what I anticipated. It wasn't like that. I spoke to the devil, she begins. He told me there are many of them, but they don't dare approach me because they fear you. In the dream, I'm discontented with S's response and press her on why she mentioned communion. Yet she remains silent. Instead, she takes a seat at a round table surrounded by diminutive devils and becomes engrossed in a card game with them. I attempt to warn her, trying to convey my feeling that even though she believes her actions are innocent, they're not. However, she remains unfazed and continues her game. As I watch, her face begins to distort, eerily mirroring the features of the devils. My concern deepens. Distressed, I retreat deeper into the room, finding solace in the Virgin Mary's corner. Shaped like a small grotto, this alcove houses an assortment of icons, paintings, bas-reliefs, and statues dedicated to the Holy Virgin, all set on shelves, chiseled into the rock. As my friends join me, I implore them to assist in identifying an image of the Virgin Mary that wasn't there the previous day. I believe that the sudden appearance of such an image would be a divine sign. Yet before we can thoroughly inspect the alcove, I'm jolted awake. The sharp sting of disappointment lingers as I realize I couldn't complete my search. I drift back to sleep and find myself in a towering skyscraper. From my vantage point, several parallel staircases ascend to the higher levels. Suddenly, S appears from below, and we embrace. I gesture towards one of the staircases, telling her, "You need to take that one. I dreamt you should go that way." She replies with her typical playfulness, "Are you for real? I had the exact same dream." S begins ascending the stairs I'd indicated. As she moves, I call out to her, "On that staircase, you'll encounter the Virgin Mary." My daughter ascends the staircase when suddenly, everything around begins to crumble. The chunks of concrete rain down from above. Everything is falling to pieces. Flames emerge, and a thick, suffocating smoke billows from doorways on various floors. As S continues her ascent, suddenly the sky, or rather, a portal to another dimension, opens. The building and staircase vanish from sight. Before us stands the Virgin Mary, such a profound and illuminating presence to see in a dream. Upon waking, I was enveloped in a profound sense of joy and contentment. Overwhelmed by the blissful encounter with such a radiant soul, I eagerly reached out to Michael. I wanted him to be privy to my elation and share in my happiness. I sensed Michael's warm smile, and he conveyed, "Mother Mary heeded your call. She has personally taken your daughter under her protection. It turns out your daughter's soul shares a deeper spiritual connection with Mary than with other divine hierarchs. Share everything with her and guide her on establishing a bond with Mary. Convey the essence of Mary's soul, her unique characteristics. Share the emotions you experienced." Me. I'm struggling to find the right words. I'd liken her energy of purity to liquefied mountain crystal. It envelops you with its clear, radiant streams. If you were to personify the word purity, it would be her soul. In her essence, there's the energy of a nurturing mother, a protective embrace that is simultaneously gentle and possesses boundless strength. A saint once described her as an indestructible wall in his prayers, and that resonates deeply with me. From her, one can feel the protective embrace of a mother and touch the crystalline purity. But there's another experience I must share. When my consciousness fall to such depths that I lost connection with you, Jesus, and other exalted spirits, it was to Mary I turned in my prayers. Even in my direst moments, she always reached out to me. It's perplexing since, given our bond, connecting with you should have been easier to feel. Michael. Those among the divine hierarchy who embody feminine energy possess a distinctive capability not inherent in masculine energy. They can delve into the densest layers of matter, into realms where it's more challenging for us. Recall the gender principle of Hermeticism, manifesting in both the macro and micro facets of the universe's matrix. Matter is the yin component, and spirit is the yang. Feminine radiant souls, by virtue of similarity, can more easily navigate the densest dimensions compared to masculine ones. Mary has the capability to find even the most staunch materialist's soul, even in the darkest layers that we often perceive as a dense black fog, making it hard to identify spirits within. When S awoke, I walked into her room. As she roused from sleep, she gazed at me with a mix of surprise and drowsiness, perhaps wondering why I was hovering over her so early. I narrated my dream to her. She listened intently, seemed a bit bashful, and remained silent. Yet I sensed her underlying delight. "I only ask one thing of you now," I said. "I understand you won't spend the whole day reciting prayers, and there's no need for that. But every morning when you wake up, and before going to sleep, or even better, as often as you remember throughout the day, simply think this phrase: I am with Mother Mary. That's all. Just this phrase. While saying it, try to visualize an invisible thread linking your souls. Initially, you might only be able to imagine it, but over time, you'll start to feel this connection. It will manifest as a sense of her being with you. Then you will feel the love she radiates. You might not feel an immediate reciprocity of love, but once you feel her love for you, the love will be returned. It's inevitable, and from that moment on, your soul will be closely bonded to hers. Her presence will guide you through life's challenges in such a manner that when you reflect on your journey, even the toughest years will seem sweet due to her support and presence. Having such a soul with you assists in fulfilling your life mission as outlined by the divine plan, serving both your evolution and the world's. However, this doesn't mean you'll lead a carefree life in the material realm. It's quite the contrary. Yet you'll be empowered to overcome significant hurdles and emerge triumphant. When the time is right, when you have unconditional trust in your spiritual guide, invoke her name 3 times as your master and declare thrice, "Through you and with you, I entrust my soul to God. Accept it." From then on, your fate is under the direct guidance of the divine hierarchy. Even your life mission may be rewritten, and a different set of karmic laws will come into play. This stage will not be easy. It might even be the hardest, as it necessitates proving the resilience, discipline, and devotion of your soul to the divine cause. I fell silent gazing at my 17-year-old daughter, whose current dream was simply to gain admission to the university for her chosen field. She's just a child, I thought, such a tender and sensitive child. My words might have been overwhelming for her, but I hoped they would linger in a corner of her memory and resurface when needed. If such a time ever came, when the foundation of her life started to crumble and the ladder vanished beneath her feet, I gently kissed her, my eyes caressing her one last time before leaving the room. Connecting with the light. Hierarchy, the practice of walking before God. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Genesis 5:24, KJ5. Many people ask how they can connect with the light forces, particularly Michael, and if their prayers are truly heard. While the essence of my book delves into this, articulating a clear answer remains a challenge. There's no one-size-fits-all method, but I can relay my personal experiences and highlight specific excerpts from my book. Those who follow my posts and have read the earliest ones will have noticed that my initial relationship with the spiritual world was not very pleasant. I often faced relentless attacks from demonic entities during dreams and in a state that teetered between sleep and wakefulness. These ordeals drew me closer to Christ, as I learned that these entities could be warded off through prayer. Although I've always had a sense, since childhood, that my spiritual guides were present, though unseen, my first clear spiritual interaction was with Jesus, not Michael. I've detailed this profound experience in a post titled Meeting with Christ. After this encounter, Jesus brought me close to Michael, who would instruct me on handling these malevolent entities. This master-disciple relationship evolved over time, with Michael sharing more than just tactics to fend off dark forces. Subsequently, I was guided to connect with another, more advanced spiritual being. Lacking a proper name, I referred to him as the Exalted Spirit. Our association revolved around interpreting the symbols from John's revelation. Building a connection with this spirit was challenging. My bond with Michael was so deep that my thoughts would unintentionally drift towards him, often disrupting my link with the Exalted Spirit. My profound connection to Michael sometimes acted as an obstacle, but that's a tale for another time. Currently, I wish to discuss an experience elaborated upon in a post titled, "See with My Eyes, Feel with My Heart." Later, I was informed that this experience is referred to as walking before God. This ancient practice, which predates the establishment of organized religions and their rituals, offers a direct communion with God. No intermediaries, just a one-on-one connection. It's about rekindling that immediate link to the spiritual triad without the influence of any religious collective. Walking before God involves fostering a deep emotional connection and maintaining a continuous inner conversation, which often starts as a monologue with the divine. Given that humans might struggle to connect with the concept of God as an omnipresent and impersonal force, we tend to lean towards a more personified or humanized interpretation. For me, this was Jesus. If you refer to the mentioned post, you'll grasp the profundity of opening oneself entirely to God, in my case, Jesus, allowing him to become an integral part of one's life. It's worth noting that building this connection is more seamless when approached with positive emotions and thoughts. High vibrational energy aligns better with the spiritual realm due to inherent compatibility. Since this bond occurs through the heart and the heart chakra, serving as a bridge between the lower three earthly and the upper three spiritual chakras, raising the heart's vibrations is crucial. It is through this elevated vibration that divine forces link an individual to their own soul or spiritual triad. All emotions stem from and are linked to the heart. Initially, the practice of see with my eyes, hear with my ears, feel with my heart, or walking before God might feel like a one-sided conversation. However, over time there comes a moment when an intangible embrace envelops and shields you. In that instant, every thought directed towards your chosen divine spirit, be it Jesus, Virgin Mary, Michael, Krishna, or any other, will resonate with pure love. The formation of this bond unfolds in stages. Initially, you recognize the love directed at you, and subsequently, you're overwhelmed by an intense sensation of returning home. It's challenging to articulate the profound joy, gratitude, and elation one feels upon encountering such souls. One can't help but be enamored by these luminous beings. While we naturally gravitate towards kind-hearted individuals, it's virtually impossible to resist the allure of these divinely inspired souls. Once you experience their essence, you yearn for more. Their presence feels like a return to a comforting home, akin to being cradled by a loving mother and drifting into a peaceful slumber, free from worldly concerns. The pull towards them is undeniable, a profound spiritual yearning that continually draws your thoughts their way. Bonds formed with such souls surpass even the most profound earthly friendships in depth and strength. It's as if they complete you, becoming an indispensable part of your being, rendering life without them inconceivable. Perhaps this is how individuals experience the divine, through his emissaries. Many speak of God's love, yet love isn't an emotion one can simply impose upon oneself out of obligation. As Michael once shared with me, true love arises only when you deeply know someone. Responding, I said, "Everyone holds you in affection. Every believer feels a unique warmth for you." He replied, "That's a different kind of warmth. While many pray to me, seek my protection, and express gratitude, genuine love stands apart. True love is reserved for those we truly understand, whose souls we perceive even without seeing their external form. This emotional bond can intensify over time, eventually evolving into a telepathic connection. A common question is how one can discern a connection with a light spirit from one with a dark spirit. Contrary to some fears, I believe this practice is incredibly safe. Dark forces can't forge such a deeply loving bond due to the nature of their energy. Such a connection should always resonate with feelings of love, centered in the heart chakra. It's love that vibrates at the highest frequency, acting as a conduit through which our human soul melds with the divine. I would recommend most to form a bond with Jesus, unless there's a potent personal affinity for another spiritual figure. If needed, as in my experience, he will guide you to the master or exalted soul best suited for your spiritual evolution. April 6th, 2019. Dreaming of Mother. I dream of my mother nearly every night. We converse as though she were still with us, but recently, our interactions have taken on a somber tone. In my latest dream, I sensed profound sadness in her. "Your grandmother is upset," she told me. "No one brings flowers to her grave." My grandmother's resting place is in Russia. With my aunt seriously ill, it's likely my cousin seldom visits the grave. In the dream, I embraced my mother, promising to convey her sentiments to my cousin. I found myself pondering the significance of flowers on the grave. I'd always believed that visiting graves was more a formality. After all, once a soul has ascended to its heavenly abode, shouldn't earthly gestures and rituals hold little meaning? I felt that the best way to honor a departed soul is through positive thoughts and heartfelt inner dialogues. Online discussions. MP. In the 5th or 6th levels, does the soul descend to the 3rd dimension? Do they come down wholly or send only a fragment of the soul? Imma. Let's clarify the layers. When discussing planetary layers, our physical dimension is the 1st, not the 3rd. This is different from the concept of 3-dimensional space. The subsequent layers, which are invisible to us, are as follows. The 2nd is the etheric or energetic layer, where auras can be seen and positive/negative vibrations felt. The third is the astral layer, the plane that one's spiritual vision usually accesses when the third eye is opened. Our collective consciousness primarily resonates at this third level and occasionally at the fourth. The fourth layer is the mental realm, often termed the lower mental realm. It's the domain of ideas and where the fifth dimensional demiurges operate. Here, the souls of the departed can craft heavenly illusionary realities around themselves. If a soul is stuck in the third or astral layer, a more emotional and passionate realm, it suggests the soul is trapped in its fears and heightened emotional states. In our physical dimension, or the first layer, we humans exist as fourth density beings. Imagine a fractal where there's a structure of 7 within 7, and within that, another 7, and so on. This fractal demonstrates the microcosm within the macrocosm concept. Within our physical world, or the first layer, there are sublevels. First sublevel, minerals. Second sublevel, plants, which encompasses microorganisms and fungi. Third sublevel, animals, birds, reptiles, and more. Fourth sublevel, humans. So in our physical world, while it's the first layer, we humans operate as fourth density, sublevel beings. Souls from the fifth and sixth dimensions often choose to incarnate, not because they're drawn by material attachments, as is typical in reincarnation, but due to their wish to assist humanity and hasten its evolution. The primary role of fifth dimensional souls is the service of God, meaning they enact God's will in specific ways. When they take on earthly incarnations, they accumulate additional spiritual points beneficial for future evolutionary cycles. This type of growth is unavailable in spiritual dimensions where there's comfort and no need for challenges, such as choosing between right and wrong. These souls typically arrive on Earth with a distinct mission and often incarnate in groups or clusters based on certain fractal algorithms. For instance, following the pentagram principle, 4 individuals might incarnate while the fifth, considered the leader, remains in the spiritual dimension to guide and support from there. This arrangement ensures these souls don't get ensnared in the reincarnation cycle once more. They benefit from this celestial protection. Nevertheless, there remains a risk of these spirits losing their way. One method of incarnation is through the dual algorithm, representing the profound bond of yin and yang. In this situation, one's counterpart stays in the spiritual realm while the other incarnates. The concept might be intricate, but it mirrors the explanations provided to me. In our era, it's predominantly the souls of the fifth dimension that incarnate. The sixth, and especially the seventh, are exalted hierarchs, the direct offspring of God and the utmost divine individuality. They descend during pivotal moments in evolution and at the cusp of new eras. But before their arrival, fifth dimensional souls incarnate to pave the way for these superior hierarchs, echoing the sentiment, "I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, prepare the way for the Lord." Partial incarnations, often referred to as avatars, are fairly prevalent. During such occurrences, certain hierarchs embed a fragment of their consciousness into an individual. This individual isn't chosen at random, but often shares a deep connection with the hierarch across numerous lifetimes. To put it succinctly, the process is intricate and vast in scope. What's evident to me is that when the vibrations of our material dimension decrease, leaning towards the demonic, and humanity begins to degenerate, the incarnation of exalted souls becomes challenging. Materializing in these lower vibrations is complicated due to a mismatch in frequencies. During such periods, we mostly witness the emergence of partial avatars, those embodying just a segment of a higher entity. This is the prevailing pattern. MPP. I'm curious, if a soul from, let's say, the fifth dimension descends and commits sins in the third dimension, can it return to its original state in the fifth dimension? Or would it first have to pass through the aerial toll houses, Imma? When a soul from the fifth dimension, a realm beyond the cycle of samsara or reincarnation, incarnates on Earth in the first dimension, it indeed needs to traverse the lower 4 layers to make its way back to the fifth. Within their lifetime, their consciousness should aim to ascend back to that level. If you've experienced that realm before, the journey may be more familiar. However, incarnating in a realm of free will, especially during times of diminished vibrations, poses a risk of becoming ensnared in illusions. This might lead to the soul becoming trapped in the deceptive layers of subtle material realms after death. To safeguard against this, these higher souls often receive protection from above. They are assured assistance. It's crucial for these souls to return to their native realm to avoid the fate of becoming fallen angels. Their actions are closely monitored. Even minor transgressions bear heavy karmic consequences for them. Their existence is far from effortless. While it's paramount they achieve their intended mission, their descent carries significant risks. Their fall can lead to much greater harm to humanity than the actions of an average malicious individual. Moreover, witnessing a brother or sister soul in distress is profoundly heart-wrenching. So, if a soul from the higher dimensions, such as the fifth, falls into lower realms or even hell, does its knowledge remain intact? Imma. Yes. Retaining knowledge is crucial, especially if the soul avoids a fall. These fifth-dimensional souls possess a robust mentality, placing them in the demiurge category. Typically, they have well-developed skills like lucid dreaming, an open third eye, strong intuition, and other abilities associated with spiritual vision. As a result, they maintain a clear mental state after death and can control subtle matter, effectively mastering the illusions with their mental strength. MP. According to Christian belief, when a person dies, their soul leaves the body and enters the astral world, which is close to the physical realm. At this point, angels or demons arrive at the place of death, seize the soul and take it away, leaving the soul powerless. It can't move independently, resist, pray, or perform any other actions. Imma. What you've described isn't quite accurate. I plan to elaborate on the soul's journey after death in future posts, which will require around 4 to 5 entries to cover comprehensively. For now, I can briefly state that upon death, a soul transitions to a vibrational layer that aligns with its own. In essence, like attracts like. If a person held demonic vibrations, they descend into a negative dimension associated with the reptilian egregore, where they undergo purification through suffering and are subsequently reincarnated under challenging conditions. This process serves as a means to relearn lessons that were previously misunderstood, leading them to adopt demonic vibrations. Conversely, virtuous individuals often find themselves in the fourth layer. Those dominated by passions and ambitions end up in the third layer, existing in a less conscious state. Individuals who lived a simplistic, animalistic life, neither particularly good nor bad, transition to the second, energy layer. Here, they experience a highly unconscious state and suffer from energy deprivation. These are the hungry souls that often manifest as ghosts or appear in dreams, seeking comfort and attachments from their previous life to alleviate their hunger. Indeed, humans receive substantial support from angels or beings from the fifth dimension after death. One may find themselves ensnared in an illusion, yet an angel has the capability to elevate their vibrations, potentially rescuing them from the lower realms if their soul maintained a connection with the spirit world during their lifetime. To put it another way, in order for an angel to elevate a human's vibrations, there must be a semblance of similarity, something within the person that can resonate with these higher vibrations and, in a manner of speaking, be illuminated by the angel's light. Consequently, devout believers who engaged in sincere prayer and fasting, motivated by genuine faith rather than fear or trendiness, might find themselves in a state of unconsciousness within some illusion after death. However, when an angel beckons, saying, "You must follow Christ," their soul will recognize Christ's vibration and heed the call. Conversely, if someone was a superficial believer or overly attached to materialism, they would fail to recognize this divine signal and remain trapped. Attaining the spiritual dimension, particularly the fifth level or higher, requires one's genuine desire to return there, surpassing all materialistic attachments. This makes overcoming the paradise illusion particularly challenging because it presents you with everything you desired in life but couldn't attain: a harmonious family, a prosperous career, attractive looks, and so on. In my personal experience, Michael constantly tests me through dreams, tempting me with these attachments. April 8th, 2019, the autumn phase in illusory realities. In my dream, I found myself at my childhood home in Sololaki, the place where I spent my formative years. Alongside my mother, we strolled down the familiar street, buffeted by the brisk autumn breeze that sent whirlwinds of yellow leaves and street dust dancing through the air. My delicate mother, her hands perpetually weary and her eyes elusive, was enveloped in a coat that I vividly remembered from my youth. That coat, infused with the comforting sense of freshly baked cookies and maternal tenderness, represented warmth and love. I have always believed that such radiant souls are scarce, blossoming like rare and fragile flowers, to add a splash of color to our otherwise mundane and gray lives. However, in this moment, my mother seemed to be shrouded in a cloud of gray street dust, her body quivering from the chill. You all left. You found solace elsewhere, leaving behind just a note for me. I was abandoned, but fret not. I will wait. Her words, steeped in a profound sense of loneliness and desertion, pierced my heart like a sharp blade. For reasons unknown to me, I sensed that her reality was enveloped in the autumn of life, dark, frigid, a harbinger of winter and impending death. Compelled by an inexplicable urge, I blurted out, "This is because you never knew God." All the while, I clung to her hand, channeling every ounce of my inner strength to forge a connection with the divine entity I refer to as the exalted soul. Whether I managed to establish that connection or inadvertently projected my own connection onto her, I couldn't be certain. My sole intention was to extricate my mother's soul from the clutches of this decaying, illusory world. With a fervent prayer to the exalted soul, I uttered, "This is my mother." That was all I managed to articulate before awakening. A profound sense of heaviness and sorrow engulfed my heart. In my mind's eye, I sought out Michael, instinctively knowing that he was fully aware of everything that had transpired. "Michael, do not worry. I created this dream scenario to convey something crucial to you. I realize that you're feeling upset right now, but it's important for you to grasp that when a soul navigates through the subtle dimensions, referred to as aerial toll houses in Christian terminology, after departing the body, it becomes ensnared at a level that mirrors the state of the soul. Recall how the subtle dimension readily manifests in response to desires and thoughts. However, the consciousness of a deceased soul, still tethered to its dissipated subtle bodies, differs from that of an incarnate individual. The soul exists in a semi-conscious state, without prior esoteric knowledge and practice. It may not even recognize its own demise or the illusory nature of its reality. This is akin to your current situation, ensnared in an illusion without awareness. I have endeavored to teach you to discern and escape this illusion. Understand that the physical dimension is just as illusory as the subtle dimension, despite its seemingly tangible nature. The subtle dimension, by contrast, is more malleable and responsive. It crafts a reality around the soul that aligns with the soul's deepest desires. This is a critical point that I want you to fully comprehend once again. Grasping this will also help you understand why you mustn't harbor intense attachments to the material world, including family members. The subtle dimension cannot be deceived. It manifests all your subconscious desires. If you yearn for professional success or physical attractiveness, the illusion will grant these desires. Only when your soul's sole desire is unity with God and a return to your true home will you transcend these illusions. In such a case, you may find yourself ensconced in a new reality. But be mindful that no matter how heavenly this reality appears, it is, like all material things, transient. It will endure only as long as there is energy to sustain the individuality of your previous incarnation. Your mother mentioned this, remember? Refer to meeting the spirit of the deceased mother. Like all things in the manifested worlds, this reality will undergo cycles of spring, summer, autumn, and winter, eventually dissolving. The higher self, the soul's superior triad, will then be liberated and reincarnated into a new individuality. This presents another opportunity to discover the divine within and claim a place on the tree of life. It may be saddening, but the reality where your mother's soul resides, filled with familial bliss, health, vitality, and success, will inevitably experience its own autumn. I was in tears. What can I do? How can I help her? You can alleviate her experience during autumn and winter by soothing her soul and arranging for funerals in the church. All of these actions provide an influx of energy to the individuality of her last incarnation, helping maintain this reality at a higher level. But sooner or later, she will still become a new person and will be reborn on Earth. I feel like I'm losing my mother for the second time. I expressed, my words laden with bitter heartache. How do you not understand that your mother is just one of the many incarnations this soul has experienced? How do you not grasp that her true essence, her immortal self, is vastly different? She acquires unique individuality and personal expression of God in each incarnation. She will never truly die. Everything that transpires is meant to be. The whole cycle of reincarnation and accumulation of earthly experiences serves a singular purpose: to transform a person into a demiurge of reality, a new being akin to us. However, this demiurge must exist within the consciousness of God. That's why the aerial toll houses or illusory traps exist. They serve as a system to test the soul's readiness and steadfastly guard the evolution of humanity. Now I understand why you constantly sent me the same types of dreams, testing my attachments. Sometimes I was successful, sometimes extremely beautiful, and sometimes I found myself surrounded by the adoration of others. I am continually testing your soul, gauging where it might become ensnared, and determining which reality aligns with the true need of your soul. I am waiting for you to remember me within these realities. Internet responses to Elo's inquiries on aerial toll houses. Elo, why would a soul choose to leave the aerial toll houses? What motivates it? If it feels content and receives everything it desires, it would not voluntarily undergo reincarnation unless forced. Imma, I'm not fond of the term aerial toll houses because Christianity describes it somewhat differently, as if devils are tempting you. I prefer the terms illusory reality or subtle material illusion. You won't escape this illusion if you feel entirely at ease. You will only leave if, despite having everything you want, you still sense that this place isn't right for you. In other words, as Michael constantly reminds me, you need to recognize the illusion. This realization should start here on Earth, and I have discussed it in one of my initial posts. Refer to Sahasrara and the illusion of reality. I will share the link in the comments. Essentially, you experience an acute awareness that where you are isn't where you belong, and that there is a true home you need to return to. This feeling becomes so overpowering that no material circumstances or possessions can satisfy you any longer. Ilia Ilo. What happens to a terrorist after death, especially one expecting to be greeted by numerous virgins in the afterlife? What would their aerial toll houses experience be like? I believe there would be some limitations. Imma. Regarding terrorists, they do not find themselves in any kind of paradise-like reality, whether it includes women or not, after death. The mere act of engaging in terrorism, killing innocent people, and even sacrificing oneself while believing it to be a divine deed, indicates a lack of development in the mental body. In simpler terms, a lack of wisdom. This holds true regardless of who might have seduced, lied to, or deceived them into committing such acts. The reality remains. Their wisdom is lacking. An underdeveloped mental and emotional astral body suggests that they are at a lower level of evolutionary development. Inevitably, these souls will be subjected to reincarnation and bear heavy karma. Until that time, they will undergo purification in the lower subtle material realms in a more positive scenario, or they might find themselves in a demonic reality in a more negative one. I once posed a similar question to Michael when we were exploring the concepts of good and evil, particularly focusing on the aspect of conscious malevolence. April 12th, 2019, Rites of Repose and the Phenomenon of Incorruptible Remains. From our previous conversation, I gained a clearer understanding of our ancestors' perceptions of the underworld as a dwelling place for spirits, as well as the significance of sacrifices and funeral rituals performed for the spirits of ancestors. The otherworldly existence of souls in Egyptian beliefs, as well as the realm of Hades in Greek mythology, reflect the ancient understanding of subtle material realities, where the soul of a deceased person resides until its next incarnation. For a virtuous individual, this reality appears heavenly, yet it is transient, despite the soul's consciousness perceiving it as permanent when in such a state. Based on my interpretation of Michael's explanation, I surmise that the Egyptian practice of mummification, as well as the tradition of burying belongings and servants with a pharaoh, was intended to fortify and extend the pharaoh's posthumous reality. In other words, to delay the autumn-winter phase of this reality. Since physical objects are composed of material that corresponds to elemental energies, they possess an ethereal counterpart that can be transferred into the soul's reality if the object is consecrated to it, especially if it is incinerated, which explains the twisted Vedic tradition of widow burning. In Georgian villages and provinces, there is still a custom of placing personal belongings in the coffin for the deceased. Returning to the topic of the Egyptian pharaohs, preserving the body's integrity through mummification seemed to ensure the soul's prolonged existence in the subtle material reality, thereby delaying reincarnation. It appears that through mummification, pharaohs and those of the divine lineage sought to avoid reincarnation during the challenging era of Kali Yuga, although this is merely my speculation. I'm I'm somewhat perplexed. The phenomenon of incorruptibility in the physical bodies of saints seems to be interconnected with this topic. Contrary to the widespread belief today, it appears that in ancient times, especially within the Greek Church, incorruptible remains were not viewed as an indication of sanctity. Instead, they were often seen as a sign of sinfulness or an indication that the deceased clergy member was tethered to the earthly realm due to some form of oath or curse. In cases of true sainthood, according to these ancient beliefs, only the white bones should remain, while the rest of the body should decompose and return to the earth. From various online sources, it's evident that both the Greeks and Russians assess the sanctity of a person based on physical appearance post-mortem. However, their criteria differ significantly. While the incorruptibility of a deceased person's body, meaning the preservation of the body's appearance, is often regarded as a sign of holiness in Russian tradition, Greeks typically associate signs of sainthood with the absence of flesh on the bones, the color and preservation of the bones, and their scent. In this context, the Greeks may perceive the incorruptibility of a body as a potential indicator of sinfulness rather than sanctity. The Great Moscow Council issued a resolution stating that the discovery of an incorrupt body does not automatically warrant veneration of the individual as a saint. Such recognition should only occur following credible testimony and a collective decision by a council, as many bodies remain incorrupt not due to holiness, but for other reasons. These reasons might include being under a bishop's or priest's curse, or as a result of violating divine sacred laws and rules. A person whose relics remain preserved can only be honored as a saint following approval from a council of bishops. The Serbian Trebnik from the first half of the 15th century contains a prayer to be recited in the event that a deceased body does not decompose. During the funeral litany, the bishop includes a special request for forgiveness of any binding oaths or excommunications, praying for the body to return to the dust from which it was created by God. It appears that if a body remains incorruptible, not due to environmental or climatic conditions, but because of a continuous influx of energy from above, it may indicate that the individual's monad has not fully transitioned back to the higher spiritual dimension. The individuality of the last incarnation seems to leave a sort of tether to the earthly dimension. In the case of a true saint, this tether may intentionally remain as a focus of light, serving as a conduit for the Holy Spirit's energy to flow to earth, aiding in healing and providing various forms of relief to people. Conversely, for a sinner, an incorruptible body may signify a profound attachment to earthly reality, compounded by unused post and prenatal energies, ultimately binding their soul to the material world. Most crucially, the gods, who incarnated in the material dimension, relied on the same mechanism and required sacrifices, blood sacrifices being the most energetically potent, to maintain their last incarnation individuality after their physical bodies perished. These gods were not exalted beings in union with the divine original source. They did not inhabit the spiritual dimension. A higher frequency realm that is elusive to my comprehension. Instead, they existed within temporal subtle reality. On the other hand, genuine representatives of the light hierarchy possess the ability to descend into subtle dimensions from spiritual one and materialize their corresponding subtle bodies. They have also crafted their unique subtle material realities, establishing a more accessible connection to the physical dimension. An example of such a reality is the elevated etheric space, where I interact with Michael as my consciousness ascends. The grand hall, with its marble columns and painted walls, appears to be his mental creation, a subtle material world formed by his thoughts, as is his appearance. Similarly, the world of sakura trees and wheat fields was my own creation. However, while I crafted it deliberately and consciously, the consciousness of a deceased person unconsciously shapes their reality, akin to dreaming. Often the outcome is less than ideal, as modern life tends to cultivate less beauty, and people's minds are cluttered with ugly, malicious images. This insight sheds light on Michael's previous advice, emphasizing the importance of creating beauty in whatever we choose to create. In essence, the purpose is to ensure that after death, the soul does not become ensnared in its own ugly phantasmagorical illusions, regarding souls deemed bad, which have developed a negative minus aura, or a left-turning energy. They transition into a negative dimension, or a dragon egregore after the death of their physical body. In this space, the energy sustaining their individuality is rapidly depleted through intense suffering and fear, ultimately serving as sustenance for disembodied demonic entities. This process propels the person towards reincarnation under challenging circumstances, and although it transpires quickly, it can feel like an eternity. For such souls, reincarnating in our world, even under the direst conditions, offers a reprieve and a sole avenue of escape from the oppressive environment of a reptilian egregore. This underscores the critical importance of preserving the lives of newborns, regardless of their health conditions, and unborn children, irrespective of their sex or other factors. Failing to do so places us in karmic debt to these souls. The destination of a person's soul, be it the dragon egregore or the subtle material realities, is determined by the overall energy radiation of the soul. This energy is symbolically represented by either a positive plus or negative minus sign, denoting right-handed altruistic or left-handed selfish energy, respectively. There is no in-between. The energy is either right-turning, radiating altruism, and placing the soul in the subtle material realities at a level corresponding to their consciousness frequency, or left-turning, absorbing, selfish, leading the soul into the dragon's egregore. Only the souls of good people, who possess a genuine and soul desire for unity with God, successfully navigate through the subtle material aerial toll houses. However, this yearning cannot be developed posthumously, nor can one deceive the laws of the afterlife. Instead, this deep need for connection with the divine must arise during one's earthly existence, cultivated through self-awareness, I am consciousness, and a heartfelt bond with God. Michael referred to this profound realization as the attainment of the kingdom of heaven, or the establishment of the kernel. He emphasized the importance of not becoming overly reliant on him, encouraging me to forge my own existential identity in conjunction with God. Our bond, surprisingly strong and enduring, stemmed from connections formed in previous lives, many centuries ago, aspects of the past that remain elusive to me. April 18th, 2019. Elevating consciousness toward the sun. Over the past month, I've been focused on editing the initial section of the book. Consequently, my communication with Michael has dwindled. Even on days when I felt a connection, the information he conveyed was sporadic. It often felt like I was grappling to understand his thoughts, but they'd elude me just when I thought I'd grasped them. This struggle is evident in my notes from early April. I sensed he wasn't trying to offer new insights. Instead, he seemed to want me to comprehend the existing information more deeply and articulate certain topics with greater clarity, given that the foundational knowledge was already shared. In the stillness of the night, with the world around me asleep, I made efforts to reach out to him, elevating my consciousness to the higher etheric realm. I perceived his thoughts urging me, "Don't stop. Elevate your awareness even further. Envision yourself reaching the sun." I heeded his guidance. Despite the darkness, I visualized my consciousness soaring towards the sun. Almost instantly, I felt enveloped in its warmth, a sensation even more profound than what I had experienced in the upper ethereal octave. The sun's fiery essence was evident, not as a scorching blaze that incinerates all in its path, but as a potent luminescence accompanied by white gold streams. Me. It's such an unusual sensation here. Do all beings in this place feel this way? There's an omnipresent sensation of being loved and loving in return. But within this sentiment, one's identity seems to merge, becoming part of these golden streams. It's hard to articulate, and even harder to compare to any other form of existence. My affection feels directed towards you, and I sense it returned. Yet, amidst all this, I can't shake the belief that in some way, you embody God, our ultimate creator. It's as though you're an extension or manifestation of Him, and through you, I feel connected to Him. Perhaps it's fitting that your name translates to "Who is like God?" Michael. I want to reassure you, you'll always remain connected to me, even when you might not feel it. Our bond existed even before you became aware of my presence. Now, to address the topic you found challenging to understand, the impulse to create originates from the Absolute. This yet-to-be manifested Absolute diversifies into the dimensions of matter and spirit. From there, matter, in a symbolic sense, descends, gravitating towards lower vibrations, growing denser and distancing itself from the spirit's dimension. As this process progresses, matter becomes increasingly distinct. This distinct or individualized matter then ascends back towards the spirit realm, becoming refined through heightened vibrations. In essence, this is how the Absolute expresses itself tangibly. This cyclical process operates on a fractal principle, both on grand and minute scales. This applies to the entire universe, as well as specific entities like Earth. Now, with this foundational understanding, let's revisit Earth's creation. The Earth, operating on this fractal principle, mirrors the universe's organization. Reflecting on what you penned in April, you were close to grasping this concept. To aid comprehension, I suggest creating a diagram. Let's begin with Earth's creation before situating it within the broader universe. This will illuminate the Creator's overarching plan, where deviation, either right or left, is only permissible within set boundaries and only in realms where free will exists. Without free will, the entire creation would merely be like clockwork, where everything has a predetermined place and operates on fixed patterns. Figure 48, the formation of Earth through the descent into matter and ascent towards the soul, leading to the acquisition of distinct layers. I spent several days crafting this diagram, and it felt disconcerting to oversimplify such intricate events. On one occasion, I voiced my concerns to Michael. We're delving into the intricacies of the universe and its components, yet we're using terms from the 21st century like ether and energies of elements. Why not employ more contemporary language? For instance, the Higgs boson. I confidently mentioned a term that's been popular in recent years, even though, like many, I didn't fully grasp its meaning. He smiled, responding with what I already suspected. The reason is you lack the necessary knowledge. I relay information based on the concepts present in your consciousness and those aligned with your soul's memories. Determined, I declared. I'll learn. I'll delve into quantum physics and the physics of black holes. It might be at a rudimentary level, but it's a start. I'm curious to see if the theories about our modern world echo the insights you've shared. He didn't respond to my assertive declaration, but I was resolute and immediately formulated a plan. Online, there are top-tier courses curated for varying proficiency levels, overseen by esteemed professors from renowned universities in Europe and America. I've previously completed several of these courses, both to enhance my professional qualifications and to indulge in my personal interests. I quickly checked if they offered a beginner's course in quantum physics. With a foundational understanding from my university days, I felt confident that such a basic program would be manageable for me. May 14th, 2019. Egregores, Religions, and Sects. While delving into quantum physics lessons, which proved to be quite challenging, I also explored various religious and sectarian movements online. I had an inkling that he wanted me to be informed on these matters. Sifting through the plethora of information left me exhausted. Michael remarked, "Do you see now why I emphasize the importance of understanding these things?" I sat disheartened, reflecting on everything I had encountered. Michael continued, "It's especially crucial given the myriad sects and movements claiming affiliation with our name. I wanted you to have a clear understanding of sects purporting to represent the White Brotherhood, or Heliars, a subset of the solar hierarchy, as well as the collective consciousness systems of established religions and how they operate. Let's revisit the basics and proceed systematically. what exactly is an egregore? You've just touched upon the concept in your book. An egregore is a part of the matrix of manifested worlds, and it is not inherently problematic unless it descends into excessively low vibrations that impede soul evolution. Similarly, an electromagnetic field is a natural part of the physical world and isn't harmful unless prolonged exposure begins to negatively affect your nervous system. The egregores we'll discuss are subtle material energy fields that connect people in specific ways. Refer to "What is an egregore" for more details. Examples include family egregores, national egregores, and personal egregores. However, today, before we delve into sects, I want to specifically address religious egregores. Nowadays, many esoteric practitioners, whether they be self-proclaimed enlightened individuals, mediums, or their followers, are wary of religious egregores and seek to free themselves from their influence. This fear has some basis, but the situation is not entirely as they perceive it. Religious egregores were initially established to organize communities and foster spiritual evolution. Each religious egregore is connected to a specific entity operating from the 5th, 6th, or 7th dimension and is governed from the spiritual triad. The vibrational frequency of the religious egregore determines the level of consciousness of its adherents. Higher frequency egregores unite individuals with higher levels of conscious awareness. Figure 49. Egregores. Michael. I'd like to clarify another aspect related to egregores. Every egregore, including those associated with religions, derives energy from its members. However, contrary to what some believe, this energy is not used to sustain the higher spiritual hierarchies within the spiritual triad. Beings from the higher triad don't rely on this energy for sustenance. While the energy of an egregore does flow to the 6th level consciousness of the highest hierarchy, or the highest manas, it's transformed there and subsequently returned for redistribution. Within the egregore, this energy is allocated among its members in such a way that the more spiritually advanced uplift those less shambho. This system ensures that humanity progresses in a relatively uniform manner, at least among individuals with similar perspectives or worldviews. Highly spiritual individuals, in a sense, sacrifice themselves to elevate their peers, which in turn allows them to make significant spiritual advancements. Jesus' incarnation is a prime example of this principle. For instance, a Christian with exceptionally high spiritual or vibrational consciousness might face challenges within the broader community of believers, the Christian egregore. This is because their elevated vibrations stand out from the average, often leading to their being perceived as outliers. Such an individual might face opposition, and their advanced ideas might be labeled as heretical. Conversely, the Christian egregore might also resist someone with a vibrational consciousness significantly lower than the average, causing them to stand out in the opposite direction. For example, a Christian extremist or terrorist would likely face opposition from the majority of Christians, be marginalized, and have their views deemed heretical. Here's how this mechanism functions. The trend of departing from religious egregores is increasingly popular among contemporary esoteric enthusiasts. They desire this exit to conserve their personal energy and to avoid feeding the egregores. What they fail to grasp is that, while existing within the material dimension, they will inevitably be associated with one egregore or another. This is simply the subtle level physics of our material world. If you depart from a religious egregore, you might become even more influenced by earthly category egregores, potentially causing your soul to be ensnared in even more detrimental oscillations. The only way to truly escape from an egregore is to rise above it. To achieve this, a monad must undergo centuries of incarnations, progressively entering higher vibrational and more expansive egregores, until eventually elevating consciousness to the 5th/6th/7th dimensions. It's crucial to understand that this ascent to the spiritual triad must occur while one is still living within the physical body, within the material dimension, not posthumously. As I've mentioned before, upon death, a soul resonates within the dimension that matched its vibrational level during its lifetime, manifesting a reality it longs for. If one's consciousness doesn't resonate at the level of the spiritual triad during their lifetime, they won't achieve that level upon death. It's a grave misconception, and I must stress this. It's profoundly erroneous to assume that one's spiritual ascension transpires only after death. Ascension ought to occur during one's lifetime. This is why it's perilous to propagate the belief that individuals are irredeemable sinners, incapable of attaining spiritual enlightenment. Modern Christianity, unfortunately, suffers from this flaw as the act of repentance has become overly emphasized, overshadowing the belief in individual potential. The primary objective for humans isn't to flee from egregores, but to attain the highest possible vibrational consciousness aligned with their life's purpose. For instance, if you're part of a military framework, say a soldier, it's improbable that your consciousness will reach mystical dimensions like the 5th, 6th, or 7th levels. Your duty is to earnestly and honorably perform the forceful defense of your homeland, all the while residing within your religious egregore, meaning you hold religious beliefs. On the other hand, individuals whose consciousness has the potential to ascend to the 5th/6th/7th dimensions due to merits earned in previous incarnations have an obligation to elevate the vibrational level of this soldier's religious egregore, which in turn uplifts the soldier's consciousness. This becomes their life's mission, and they are held accountable for its fulfillment. This dynamic interplay underpins the system of religions. To extricate oneself from the sway of egregores and attain autonomous control over circumstances, one should elevate their consciousness to, at a minimum, the 5th dimension. This mirrors the state I introduced to you, urging you to elevate your consciousness to the upper etheric realm. In this state, it's as if you're observing events from a vantage point, neither being ensnared by nor participating in them. This transcendent state lies beyond the reach of all subtle material egregores. Ascending to the 6th dimension ensures that not only egregores, stars, but also planetary astrological energies have diminished influence over you. Achieving the 7th level signifies the zenith of pure consciousness inherent to the primordial soul, culminating in a profound union with the divine. Michael, I'd like to shift our discussion to the subject of sects and religious movements. As human consciousness embarks on its ascent and collective human awareness progresses through the stage of intellectual development, many find traditional religious explanations inadequate. Consequently, there's a rise in the number of so-called spiritual masters and gurus. Let's set aside the overtly harmful sects and focus on those where traces of sacred knowledge exist. What stands out about these sects and movements is that their teachings often contain a great deal of truth. This truth resonates with people, giving them confidence and lulling them into complacency. As a result, genuine insights get intertwined with misleading elements so seamlessly that followers don't discern the discrepancies. Many of these movements are orchestrated by forces aiming to impede human evolution. Some exist to operate under our name, thereby tarnishing our reputation, like the White Brotherhood sect in Ukraine. Many leaders of such sects remain oblivious to the external influences that fuel their meteoric rise. Other spiritual movements impact individuals through more nuanced means, using sounds and thought structures. This delves into the realm of traditional magic, but a version that's darker and more profound than the commonplace love charms and coffee cup divinations. Recall refer to Christ's energy. When you linked Christ's energy to the egregore of Russia during a prayer, the resulting surge disrupted and disintegrated constructs. At the time, you were alarmed, unaware of the significance of your action. However, your higher self comprehended the event, as your soul retains knowledge about magic. What you dismantled were the dark thought structures influencing the collective consciousness of Russia. Such constructs possess formidable influence. I often felt uneasy when I delved into the books and teachings of various sects and paths. It felt as if my soul was plunging into darkness, and it required immense effort to extract myself from these low vibrational realms. Michael, I intentionally prepared you for these descents into darkness and your subsequent return from it. Your training commenced even before your birth on this planet. Throughout your life, from battling demons to constructing mental frameworks and elevating your consciousness to connect with me, everything has been geared towards equipping you to navigate the shadowy realms. In your dreams, I created diverse scenarios to identify and reinforce your vulnerabilities, ensuring that these dark forays wouldn't taint your spirit. I educated you on the principles of the ethereal realms, how to manipulate the subtle matter using focused thought, harnessing prayer energy within the egregore system, and radiating the luminance of your own soul. You've learned to detect, cleanse, and rejuvenate demonic entities and vibrations using varied techniques. You've been taught to elevate your consciousness to the etheric realm and ultimately to align it with the sun. You've come to recognize and experience your own spiritual layers of the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensions, understanding the essence of existing in those higher realms. Your endeavors are of immense value to us. Through your perspective, I see and grasp what remains obscured to me due to our spatial separation. I could sense his warmth enveloping me as he detected my fatigue. Rest now. You can continue writing later. Everything is already imprinted in your mental body. His presence felt overwhelmingly close, making me acutely aware that my spiritual sight wasn't keen enough to perceive his subtle form. He continued, "You've always been curious about the dimension I inhabit. However, before grasping that, you needed to learn and internalize a plethora of experiences, using your own feelings as a guide. My consciousness primarily resonates at the 6th level, synonymous with the highest manas, or Christ consciousness. At this echelon, beings profoundly sense unity with the spirits aligned with their essence, or to put it another way, their spiritual family. For me, this encompasses my legion of angels. Together we form an integrated entity, much like a hive of bees or a harmonious ant colony. In this space, monads retain a semblance of individuality, yet are profoundly integrated in a loving unity with others. When you elevate your consciousness to align with mine, you blend into my manas. This union means your consciousness merges with my 6th dimensional state. In this fusion, I become an extension of you and vice versa. The sensation of golden currents and the dissolution of oneself is the union with my 7th aspect, or God consciousness. Yet I also possess a 5th dimensional form that's more distinctive. This form has its unique visage and its causal or karmic reincarnation narrative, primarily linked not with Earth, but with the Sun and the fiery planets. That's my celestial native body. Additionally, a fragment of my consciousness perpetually exists in the 7th dimension, basking in the eternal bliss of oneness with God. Although it's not all-encompassing, given the fragmented state of my soul in lower dimensions, my connection with God is as perpetual as your bond with me. As an aspect of his consciousness, I enact his will. When I need to be with you, I adopt a subtle material form. You might not always discern it, but it exists in the upper echelon of the 4th dimension and currently stands beside you in your room. July 6th, 2019, Elevating Consciousness and Spirituality. I began sharing excerpts from my book in a Facebook group, and the questions posed online compelled me to consolidate my vast and multifaceted experience, along with the insights it has yielded. I now recognize that while the subject spans not just one lifetime, but many incarnations, making it inherently vast and complex, such a process of systematization, compilation, and summarization is still feasible. Crafting a coherent narrative of these processes has allowed me to perceive the overarching picture more clearly. A prevalent inquiry pertains to the stage at which one transcends the lower ego. I believe a more precise question would be, how does the elevation of consciousness, akin to spiritual development, occur? And what precisely constitutes the lower ego, or lower self, that is shed in the course of one's divinization? Since consciousness is a principal attribute of the soul, indeed, its very core, I'll begin my explanation from the initial stages. Refer to Figure 10, 6c, where the consciousness of the intellect, or the sublevel of the mental body, represents the lowest material mental level. This is the consciousness associated with the number 666. Human consciousness within the material dimensions is typically attuned only to the gross physical realm, because our mental energies pulsate at very low frequencies, resulting in a correspondingly restricted sensorium. However, even among materially oriented humans, there's a spectrum. Some are solely preoccupied with basic survival, eating, satisfying primal instincts, and reproduction. This state of being can be referred to as the human beast consciousness. 666, or the physical mental level, the lowest material mental level, which is on par with lower density beings such as animals. The next tier is the energy human, at the energy mental level. Individuals at this level are fixated on sexuality, body aesthetics, and the physical form. Their ideal of beauty is often exaggerated sexual features. Since their mental consciousness resonates with the second chakra, many aspects of life, including self-perception, are colored by sexuality. To them, enlarged sexual attributes equate to increased beauty, leading to a preference for features such as fuller lips and breasts. This obsession can become so extreme that it sometimes results in grotesque alterations that go unnoticed by the individual. Progressing further, when mental consciousness aligns with the third chakra, the mental level of passions and desires, a person becomes infused with vital energy. Their beauty ideal shifts to health and athleticism. At this mental awareness stage, individuals are ensnared by passions and are driven by a potent mix of ambition and motivation, which could be either positive or negative in nature. At the fourth chakra, the intellectual mental level emerges. Intellectuals engage predominantly in mental activities, and their self-image tends to de-emphasize physical appearance, which is often observed among scientists. As we move to the higher mental sublevels, 5th, 6th, 7th, we find individuals who are charismatic, heartful, and spiritual. Their beauty standard incorporates external neatness while reflecting internal spiritual beauty. Spiritually inclined people may appear unremarkable at first glance, but exude an inner radiance. This glow is a physical manifestation of their spiritual essence. The concept of ascending consciousness, aligning with the chakras, involves the mental body's expansion, leading to an identification with increasingly larger entities or structures, essentially egregores. But what exactly does this entail? Let's examine this from the ground up. The most basic level of mental consciousness, labeled 666, is simultaneously the most self-centered and isolated from others. Refer to figure 10C. A person at this stage is wholly absorbed in their own earthly existence, prioritizing personal survival and well-being. Their self-reflection is confined strictly to themselves, often disregarding the needs or existence of others, including family members. Progressing beyond this, individuals who include their families in their self-reflection are considered more evolved. Their consciousness has expanded to encompass the family egregore. For them, their household is paramount. Anything beyond the immediate family, like community or global issues, holds little interest unless it directly impacts their family. A stereotypical illustration is the contrast observed in some Georgian American homes, where the interior is immaculate, but shared spaces like hallways are neglected because they fall outside their self-identified realm of responsibility. The expansion of consciousness continues as one recognizes not only their home, but also their city, their country, their nation, and eventually all of humanity and the planet as extensions of themselves. While most people notionally consider their country as their own, the level of perception we're addressing here is more profound. It involves a deep identification with the country's egregore. At this juncture, one feels a unity with their homeland so intense that national tragedies are experienced as personal afflictions. This advanced level of consciousness is where national heroes typically emerge, as their self-reflection encompasses and resonates with the broader community. The sense of empathy is greatly magnified at the level of a country's egregore. For instance, a Georgian might empathize with another Georgian as deeply as they would with themselves. The subsequent phase involves expanding one's consciousness to encompass the egregore of humanity, representing a significant leap for someone anchored in material existence. This leap is critical because it borders on the domain of the spiritual individual. At this heightened level of consciousness, a person extends their self-identification to include all of humanity. They empathize with a family member and a stranger alike. The plight of a starving child in Africa elicits as much concern as the well-being of their own child, compelling them to act beyond personal comfort zones. This still pertains to material consciousness, but shares a kinship with the Christ's consciousness through its essence and fractal analogies. Advancing to the seventh stage, consciousness escalates to a planetary scale, incorporating the entire spectrum of life, animals, plants, and minerals. The individual's sense of ownership extends to the whole planet, and their empathy becomes all-encompassing. Such profound compassion for all living things can render happiness elusive and life burdensome. However, this intense compassion is the transformative birth pain from which a new divine consciousness emerges. This is akin to a baptism by spirit and fire, leading to an immortal soul, the restoration of Eden, the kingdom of heaven, where global empathy persists and unity with God instills eternal bliss. At this point, consciousness, or spirituality, ascends to an entirely new level, the fifth dimension, as per Figure 10, B, which is part of the spiritual triad, fifth, sixth, seventh dimensions. A person's awareness of their own soul intensifies. There's a growing realization that one's self, individuality, and body are distinct, that their earthly identity, that is the lower ego, isn't their true essence. The true self is immortal, and the earthly identity is as transient as a garment to be discarded. Here, the third eye, or spiritual vision, naturally opens, and this awakening occurs gradually in alignment with the seven-tiered fractal ascent of consciousness. Initially, spiritual vision manifests within the etheric or energy field, which is second planetary layer, as illustrated in Figure 10b, while human bodies are depicted in Section B. Our planet similarly such as the human aura and various diseases. Since these subtler dimensions consist of uniform vibrational energy strata, the human brain frequently interprets the received information through color visualization. It's important to note that within the visible spectrum, red has the lowest frequency and violet the highest. Therefore, areas of low vibration in energy fields are often seen or felt as red by the observer. For instance, a disease within the human energy body might present itself as a red spot on aura. Conversely, medicinal plants emit a blue or violet glow, indicative of the highest frequency light. When someone's aura absorbs the violet hue, typically through the influence of a medicinal plant, the energy body's vibrational spectrum is elevated, resulting in high vibrational colors like blue, white, or gold, which commonly blend together. This visionary capacity is typical of energy healers and defines their operational realm. A crucial lesson at this layer, alongside energy healing and biofield awareness, is the differentiation between low frequency or demonic energies and divine or high frequency energies. Mastery of this discernment is vital. Without it, ascending to the next layer, the astral plane, can be perilous. This realm is inhabited by non-corporeal entities that can assume any guise, and their true nature is revealed by their energy signature, that is, their aura. This type of astral perception is often referred to as spiritual deception in Christianity. To navigate beyond this deception, one must become adept in the etheric layer, learning to identify demonic entities by the essence of their energy, not by appearances. Trust must shift away from the spiritual eyes to an understanding that this world is made up of energies and information rather than the material categories we are accustomed to. As consciousness delves into the third planetary field, or the astral layer, we encounter a realm synonymous with passions in the fractal structure of 7 layers and corresponding to the astral or emotional body within humans. At this juncture, the battleground of emotions and fantastical narratives unfold. For those unprepared, the intensity of this layer can be overwhelming, even to the point of mental collapse. This is where fears, passions, and insatiable desires take on subtle yet tangible forms known as astral constructs. Additionally, this layer is populated by real disembodied demonic entities that can be adversarial, necessitating a form of spiritual combat. In this realm, one learns the true nature of fighting against evil. Here, it becomes evident that violence only breeds more violence. Negativity thrives on negativity, and evil consists of low vibration energy oscillations that can only be countered with higher vibrations, namely those of spiritual light, goodness, virtue, inner spiritual harmony, and an enlightened heart. Various scenarios are constructed to teach a person to radiate these higher qualities under differing conditions. If an individual, disciple, achieves success within the astral layer, they may be granted energy by the higher forces, which can be likened to the Vedic concept of Shakti. Handling Shakti is a significant responsibility and must be approached with caution. Misuse of this energy can lead to a fall in vibrational levels and a regression in spiritual progress. One manifestation of Shakti is the power of prayer, where dark forces are dispelled through the energy of Christ or the Mother of God, elevating one's vibrations through the interaction with egregores. The conferral of Shakti represents profound trust from the higher hierarchy and must be utilized with pure altruistic intent to avoid causing unintentional harm to oneself or others. Shakti is granted only when an individual fully comprehends the true nature of fighting against evil and has mastered the astral plane's challenges. Figure 10, a gradation based on the sevenfold fractal structure of A. Living beings, B. Human physical bodies, C. Human mental bodies. As you master this lesson, you ascend to the mental plane. This is the domain of ideas and correspondingly the architects of our material reality. It's the creative workshop of the demiurges. In this sphere, you learn to formulate mental constructs that subsequently cascade through the astral and etheric layers, eventually manifesting in the material world as tangible forms and events. It is an arena of intense activity for both benevolent and malevolent forces, as it abuts the spiritual realm, making it a challenging battlefield for forces of light due to the dark interference originating from here. This plane is the zenith of magical and tantric endeavors. Within this realm, one can shape a mental construct, an idea, for example, and infuse it into the collective psyche or egregore of a nation. These ideas then surface among the populace, who remain oblivious to their external origin. On the mental plane, the disciple learns the role of a demiurge in their own reality. However, this is only an introductory experience, because true creation is believed to require a union with the highest spiritual triad. It is only through a harmonious relationship with the divine that one can act as an emissary of the divine will and a co-creator. With this divine sanction, real power is granted from above. Thus, the journey of raising one's consciousness through the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensions begins. It is here where the true sensation of the divine and the bliss spoken of by saints and the enlightened are truly realized. The 5th level of consciousness marks the onset of deification. At this stage, an individual becomes aware of their higher self, the immortal aspect of their being, which has been refined across numerous incarnations. This higher self shapes one's immortal identity for the forthcoming evolutionary cycles. From this vantage point, material reality is perceived as a lower plane of existence, and the soul assumes command over life. It is crucial to remember that when one begins to perceive spiritually, encompassing the astral, mental, and the higher triad, their consciousness divides into fragments. This means they are simultaneously oriented in the material world while also perceiving etheric, astral, and mental dimensions through the eyes of the higher self. Multidimensional perception becomes as instinctive as our ability to simultaneously see, smell, hear, and touch. At the fifth level, consciousness encounters and interacts with spiritually advanced beings in the higher etheric planes, specifically the first and second sublevels of the fifth dimension. Although these beings can manifest themselves in the mental and astral planes, doing so requires substantial effort due to the lower vibrational and dense nature of these realms. When a person operates on the astral or mental levels, and a spiritual entity assumes a mental or astral form to descend to them, the entity can't sustain its presence for extended periods at these lower levels. Additionally, telepathic communications from these higher beings may become tainted by negative astral and mental influences, including malevolent implants in subtle bodies. These are difficulties that mediums and channelers face in accurately conveying messages from higher spiritual entities. Messages can be so heavily distorted that it becomes nearly impossible to determine whether the source is benevolent or malevolent. To form a substantial connection with a higher spiritual being, there must be an underlying bond of love. Love is the most potent and highest frequency emotion, serving to cleanse the atmosphere for communication and to facilitate a stronger connection. It acts as a unifying force, similar to our natural impulse to embrace a loved one, bringing them into our personal space. In the same vein, when love connects a person to a higher being, their consciousnesses can intertwine with ease, creating a profound bond. The core of Christian teaching is to approach God with love, not fear. Angels are well versed in this concept and rarely make mistakes. They focus on purifying and lifting a disciple's consciousness to at least the fifth level before forging a solid bond. A genuine seer, medium, or spiritual advisor is expected to be exceptionally moral and pure-hearted, having nurtured their spiritual development over numerous lifetimes. Such a person would have experienced advanced moral and mental development up to the seventh level of consciousness and reached the planetary layers associated with the fifth level. The higher spiritual hierarchies set high standards for telepathic communication and test souls over many lifetimes before establishing a connection. This extensive vetting is designed to prevent individuals from being corrupted by dark forces and from propagating erroneous teachings and ideologies. In essence, the reliability of a spiritual intermediary can be judged by their character and the impact of their work. Echoing the saying, "A tree is known by its fruit." For the forces of light, an incarnate individual, one who is within a physical body and connected to the spiritual realm or spiritual triad, is of immense significance. This is because only through an incarnate soul can the spiritual dimensions be bridged with the physical. It allows the drawing of planetary frequencies from the spiritual realm through an influx of light, often described as the Holy Spirit, an embodied person linked to the system of egregores, and thus to many others, can facilitate not just their own spiritual ascension, but also that of numerous individuals. When the ascensions reach a critical mass, the frequencies of the entire planetary fields can elevate, potentially transitioning the entire planet into a new, higher evolutionary cycle. This transformation is akin to the process of water boiling. Initially, individual boiling points appear as solitary bubbles, and when these reach a certain quantity, the entire body of water boils simultaneously. This is the precise objective of the higher spiritual hierarchy at present. Such individuals act as luminous power centers, bastion and beacons of light, fulfilling many roles across all subtle levels. At the 6th level, often referred to as the Christ consciousness, there is a partial loss of individuality. As one begins to sense the interconnectedness of all souls as part of their true essence. What does this mean? For a person, this implies a unity with all humanity, an affinity with others as extensions of themselves. For an entity like Michael, it signifies unity with his warriors, or legion, who, at the 6th dimensional level, form a collective consciousness. Michael may correspond to something broader, possibly our solar system, or even our galaxy. What is clear is that the 7th level shares the same essence across various scales and fractals, whether it's Earth or another celestial body. The nature of the 7th level remains consistent. It's noteworthy to mention that the consciousness of higher beings, those not embodied within the upper triad, exists across the 5th, 6th, and 7th dimensions simultaneously. Their consciousness forms a trinity, coexisting within these dimensions in a triangular relationship. This concept was challenging for me to grasp for a long time. In my conscious interactions with Michael, I perceive not only his individuality, but also his interconnectedness with the 6th and 7th aspects, both aligning with the divine. At the 6th level, I experience being absorbed into his consciousness, while at the 7th level, I encounter streams of bliss and happiness, golden in color, where my sense of self dissolves and merges with the divine essence. October 26, 2019, The Spiritual Path. Let us be where storms rage on, and wounded angel stands alone. Galactian Tabidze. I always recall a phrase from a book that resonated deeply with me. There will come a time when you will have to choose between what is right and what is easy. This line struck a chord because of its precise emphasis, not a choice between right and wrong, but between right and easy, because wrong is often the easier. But why am I reflecting on this? As a disciple begins their journey of spiritual development and strives to foster virtuous qualities within themselves, they become increasingly attuned and sensitive to vibrations. With the elevation of their vibration, there's a growing sensitivity to this world's lower vibrational expressions. Many are familiar with how distressing it can be to endure dissonant, heavy music, the cacophony of information, or boisterous, drunken chatter. The mere presence in a crowded space can become physically unsettling. The discomfort from lower vibrations intensifies to the point where interactions with people who were once bearable now deplete your energy significantly. You notice the varying energies of city neighborhoods distinctly. Furthermore, the onslaught of negative news we face daily almost intolerable. Even overhearing vulgar language directed at someone else is jarring. The proximity to inebriated individuals or those smoking can be overwhelming. These are just a few of the countless examples. Gradually, you shed the thick skin and resilience you once possessed, leaving you more exposed. This heightened sensitivity can become so bothersome that the instinctive reaction is to make the easy choice to withdraw from these low vibration environments. You might seek minimal contact with people, shun the news, deflect others' grievances, and steer clear of conflict. The aim is to cocoon yourself away from negativity, crafting a sanctuary replete with lush plants, tranquil meditation music, aromatic incense, and healing crystals, a personal haven amid apocalyptic, deteriorating world. Others like you will surely advise you to avoid getting involved in discussions and conflicts, to keep a distance, let the world do as it will, and focus instead on the serene. They'll suggest you listen to music, appreciate the birds' songs, and observe the sun's rays filtering through dew-kissed leaves to forget the turmoil. For the paramount task is to elevate your vibration. And at a certain stage, this choice to avoid is indeed wise. While the fledgling is weak and its feathers scant, avoiding confrontation is prudent. But when the fledgling's plumage has thickened, its wings have strengthened, and it's ready to soar from the nest, the master will cast it into the throes of tumultuous reality. At this juncture, you must learn to sustain those painstakingly nurtured, tenderly maintained, high vibrations against all odds, facing trials such as adversity, illness, and aggression. These challenges are interspersed with deceptive highs that are even more perilous. You might suddenly find yourself in vogue, beloved by many, your name on everyone's lips. Even then, you must guard your most precious asset, your high vibration, and the inner silence that accompanies it, what Michael referred to as the inner core. Choosing the right path grows increasingly challenging as the easy one constantly skulks by your side, an invisible shadow poised to engulf you the moment you err, always understanding, always excusing, just one misstep. This is the phase where the disciple immerses in lower vibrations, where immersion must not become fall. You must delve as deep as necessary without relinquishing the spiritual luminescence, a torch passed from your master that embeds his light within your heart. Enraptured by the master's purity, you may exclaim, "I am ready to carry your light into hell itself." And with a knowing smile, he might respond, "You are already there." For the wounded angel must ever stand where storms rage on. Only after you've endured the tempest, navigated through falls, conquered malevolent spirits, and preserved your inner angel through injuries and bleeding, will the master guide you back to the oasis of tranquility. In this haven, your very existence becomes a potent force, capable of transforming worlds. This is the embodiment of strength and weakness realized. The battles and conflicts will cease. The need to choose between good and evil will dissolve as light and dark, virtue and vice, black and white, converge in eternal divine glory. A single illuminated soul can brighten the entire world, elevating others with mere presence, with an effortless emanation of spiritual radiance. Such is the sublime expression of the seventh level, I am consciousness, effortless impact through mere being. But until that, struggles remain. October 30th, 2019. Techniques for initiating and controlling lucid dreams. I sense that Michael is observing how effectively I disseminate the knowledge he imparts, how I address questions posed in the group, and how I handle both criticism and commendation. This entire process appears to be a trial for me. Lately, I've been engulfed in melancholy. Beginning in May, I've been sharing snippets from my book in a Facebook group I created. Gradually, its membership has increased. Although negative comments are infrequent, they seem to unleash a wave of darkness within me whenever they appear. It's an odd sensation, akin to being submerged by black tides. I did not anticipate this reaction. Previously, I shared excerpts in other groups, but ceased doing so due to the more severe onslaught of this dark energy. It's challenging to articulate, but the sensation is akin to an encroaching gloom that even affects me physically. In these moments, maintaining my desired state of consciousness becomes arduous, and my connection with my spiritual guides weakens. It feels as though I am slipping back into a realm of fear and despair that I thought I had left far behind, and it takes time to recover my strength and emerge from the darkness. Conversely, when individuals express that my words have brightened their hearts, a sentiment shared by many, I experience a profound, serene joy. I then share a silent smile with Michael and Jesus, feeling their warmth returned. The satisfaction from the sense of accomplishment also radiates within me, fortifying me. Yet I must admit I may not be the ideal disciple for Michael, as I have yet to master the art of remaining unaffected by the negative repercussions of my outreach, despite his teachings. Recently, I endured another attack, leaving me feeling unwell. The connection with Michael and Jesus was faint. When I go to bed and close my eyes, striving to fall asleep, I'm often met with a rapid succession of bizarre, random images. They range from the mundane, like a rabbit racing, to the fantastical, such as samurai in combat, or children at play, a haphazard collage of familiar and unfamiliar faces and objects, without coherence or logic. I can't determine whether these are subconscious thought forms or simply the day's residual impressions. However, I've observed that these images can be stabilized and manipulated. With practice, you can guide this process into a lucid dream, carrying your conscious awareness with you. Although I'm still exploring what I'm experiencing, it seems to be a technique to initiate and control lucid dreaming. I've begun experimenting with this approach. As an image appears, let's say a rabbit, I tell myself, I see a rabbit. Then I attempt to transform the rabbit into another entity or object by internal command. Turn into a dog. I visualize the rabbit morphing into a dog, and the image readily complies. The critical moment is this brief interlude between wakefulness and dreaming. It is during this fleeting window that I must maintain consciousness to to seamlessly transition into a lucid dream. Last night, to counteract the negative energy, I prayed before sleeping, performed breathing exercises, engaged in a brief meditation, and anointed my third eye with myrrh. As I approached sleep, I entered that liminal space and watched the unfolding image within my mind. It was a surreal scene, a marshy swamp where 3 wooden playhouses were partially submerged. This is so ridiculous, I thought reflexively, and just then it seemed as if I heard Michael's distant voice. Do not analyze. You'll disrupt the intermediate stage. Analysis is the consciousness of the physical world, which you need to quiet. Ride the wave. Intuitively, I understood that the analytical waking consciousness, the one Buddhists seek to transcend during meditation, needed to be lulled to rest. So I stilled my thoughts and, following an instinctive impulse, used my mind's power to lift the playhouses from the mire, watching water cascade off them. I then focused on one house, enlarging it into a real dwelling. My concentration wavered. I couldn't sharpen its features, and it took on an unnaturally large size, with bizarre embellishments. Nevertheless, I entered through the door and materialized a staircase. As my focus ebbed and I neared sleep, the staircase stretched endlessly upwards. Summoning my will, I concluded the climb at a door. Beyond it lay a familiar space, a wooden attic bathed in the light from large, vibrant stained glass windows. I sensed the verdant nature and the chirping of birds outside. Before me lay a yoga mat, and on the mat, my place was set. Across from it sat my master, Michael. I could scarcely believe it. Was this the true energy of Michael, or just an iconographic product of my imagination? As realization dawned, I felt his presence envelop me. It wasn't as vivid as before, but it was indeed him. Try not only to see and hear, but also to smell. Sense the fragrance of roses from the incense, he instructed, and I watched as scented smoke filled the room. I marshaled my remaining strength to catch the scent of roses. For a moment, a pleasant aroma seemed to brush my nostrils, but suddenly the vision blurred. Michael turned into a blue smudge, then spread out across the room, losing shape and vanishing. I must have fallen asleep. It was an instantaneous slumber. I awoke promptly, but the dream had dissipated. Interestingly, my practice in the preceding days was slightly different. A few days ago, in the same liminal state, I was merely conscious, shifting through successive images, and suddenly I realized I had slipped into a dream while retaining my awareness. Even so, the dream was brief, and I soon awoke. I intend to persist with this practice. Let's see how much I can refine it. State of spiritual vision. Insights from Internet post. You can transition from the dream-wake state into 2 different experiences. 1, a controlled dream, or 2, an altered state of consciousness. There are 2 distinct paths. In the second scenario, you won't be asleep. You may even open your eyes, yet your vision remains intact. However, instead of random, meaningless images, you will perceive coherent visions. You'll observe how your thoughts and emotions manifest as thought forms. forms within the subtle mental plane. In this state, communication with disembodied spiritual entities becomes effortless, as you will visualize their telepathic messages in vivid images that seem to overlay our physical reality. November 10th, 2019, the battle against darkness. Dream vision. No matter where I journey, be it bustling street or silent home, I find myself among eerie giants that stalk among us as dwellers in our midst, feeding off of us. These beings, predatory in nature, regard us humans as mere sustenance for their existence. Those like myself, who perceive their true forms, must always conceal our awareness. To be discovered by them is to invite death. These giants evoke images of ancient myths, Greek titans, or more specifically Cyclopes, primitive, brutish, immensely powerful entities that feast not on the flesh, but on the spiritual essence of humanity, thriving on the low vibrations of our psychic energies. Invisible to most, they toy with us, delighting in our earthly woes, our emotional tumults, our conflicts and shared animosities. In Tbilisi, passions flare around national values, the rights of minorities, and even the church's own morality, all of which I witnessed within the dream's scope. The populace seemed like sheep, blind followers. To these Cyclopes, the masses are but meek, unkempt creatures, not worth the trouble of enlightenment. They grow enraged and fight at the whims of these overlords. The defiant ones, who dare to stand against these titans, are quickly extinguished. These creatures indulge in our chaos, lords of all they survey. The notion that we own our homes, our lands, is but an illusion. Those who are awakened to this truth realize we live within their dominion, mere playthings, and it is only our limited senses that grant us the comforting illusion of self-control. These giants are alien to Earth, and it dawned on me how ironically humanity longs for encounters with extraterrestrial beings, not knowing that the encounter has long since occurred, and we are under their yoke. As I gazed into the night sky of my dream, filled with odd flying machines and vigilant patrols, it became clear there was an omnipresent surveillance above. Yet I sensed these giants were but pawns, orcs, serving under a higher, more sinister authority. I witnessed the valiant struggle of the righteous against these formidable beings, and the stark futility of their battle. Among the fighters was my father, aged yet unwavering, standing prominently among the front lines. I watched in horror as a giant's axe struck him, wounding his side and seemingly his neck too. I removed the axe from his flesh, clinging to hope that the wounds would mend. Overcome with exhaustion, pain, and weakness, my father's despairing words echoed within me, the cry of a soul besieged and facing inevitable doom. My brother, too, was among the ranks of the resistance, yet I found him paralyzed by despair, crouched and muttering the hopeless refrain, "They can do whatever they want. I can't endure this any longer." Navigating through carnage, through bones and spilled blood, the scene was not merely a lost battle, it was an outright slaughter. I sought refuge wherever possible, moving from one shelter to another as these predatory giants hunted for us, the resistant warriors. One such giant neared me several times but failed to perceive my presence. I realized then that my gift was invisibility to their kind. However, they had their own human spies searching for those like me, for a human eye can always discern another human. One spy discovered me, yet he chose not to betray me, allowing me to flee. Seeking a new haven, I encountered another giant, clad in white, harvesting energy from the fervor of protecting national customs and traditions unfolding in our nation. It was as though he sheared his sheep, spun their wool into ropes, and devoured the threads, all while roaring with a drunken glee. In a careless moment, he rolled over, colliding with me. Although blind to my form, he sensed the contact and his hand swiftly encircled my neck. The sensation was eerily reminiscent of the attack I had felt days before on my 5th chakra. The giant grasped my hand and issued a chilling ultimatum. "You have 2 minutes to convince me you're not who I suspect you are." I struck at his nose, taken aback by the unexpected resistance, and unable to see me, he stumbled and fell, though he did not release my hand. It was at that moment that I awoke. Upon waking, I was enveloped by an omnipresent darkness. This was no ordinary nocturnal shade, but an all-encompassing, marrow-penetrating, oppressively dense, and soul-numbing black mist. It had been a long while since I'd felt darkness so profound. I turned on the bedside lamp, yet my thoughts lingered in that dark realm. What I had seen was a dire, inescapable global catastrophe, a world where humans have been reduced to domesticated beasts, branded by the mark of the beast, indicative of a diminished consciousness, allowed to exist only if they conform, as in the apocalypse, where one can buy and sell only if marked by the beast. The rest are subjected to relentless extermination, in a battle that is both grotesquely unequal and utterly devoid of mercy. Where are the sons of God? Why do they not aid us in our battle against these monsters? I pondered involuntarily, a plea for assistance directed toward Michael and Christ. Then, suddenly, I overheard my son stirring in the next room, speaking to his father. The next morning, as we all congregated in the kitchen, my son recounted his dream, which, as it turned out, my husband remembered more vividly since my son had confided in him during the night. Dream. I dreamt that my mother was having a nightmare, and upon waking she found herself in darkness. It was shadowy all around her. Just then, grandfather, my father, entered the room, clutching his side as if in pain, and exclaimed, "Damn it!" I couldn't grasp what was happening. Suddenly I perceived wolves encircling our house, as if they were preparing to feast on a bull. It dawned on me that my son and I had shared a similar dream, with his vision seemingly picking up where mine left off. Through my thoughts, I reached out to Michael and was comforted by the warmth and love I felt from him, which restored me to a state of inner peace. Michael explained, "What you witnessed is grounded in Georgian mythology, as you surmised. Your son perceives these giants differently, perhaps as animals, as predatory beasts linked to malevolent entities in his subconscious. You are already aware that one should not be deceived by appearances, but should discern the true essence. What I reveal to you is indeed transpiring. These dark entities operate within a hierarchy, and while they may be lower echelons, their mission remains consistent: to sustain humanity in a state of low spiritual vibration. This ensures that the third eye, the spiritual vision which naturally emerges as the soul ascends, remains closed, for its opening would not only deprive them of sustenance in the form of your energy, but would also result in their displacement from the Earth's vibrational field. They would find themselves marooned in an underworld dimension, trapped by the vibrational resonance to which they are attuned. To perpetuate these low frequencies on Earth, they orchestrate various scenarios of conflict, setting people against one another. Therefore, I will not focus on teaching you about the external conflict, which is significantly manipulated by these entities. Instead, I'll guide you through the internal battle. When you maintain a high vibration and reside in a state of love and harmony, you are no longer a pawn in their game. Moreover, you become somewhat invisible to them, beyond their sphere of influence, much like your experience in the dream. That's why I am going to introduce you to the third way, the spiritual journey, which involves aligning your actions with divine forces. This battle isn't about physical, intellectual, or psychological confrontation. It's about an internal struggle illuminated by your connection with the divine. In this state, you are shielded differently. Your brother and father are noble individuals who engage these forces with virtue. However, their combat is external, which is why you witnessed it as a literal war, with weapons in hand. In such a war, victories are scarce since the forces are not balanced, and the just and unyielding are few. Many believe they are battling for truth and righteousness, yet they inadvertently release so much negative energy that it amplifies the spiritual obscurity you've been sensing acutely of late. That is why it is crucial to foster a sincere bond with the divine, so we can perceive your summons, hear the plea of your heart, and extend our assistance in a timely manner. Your heart is the portal for connecting with us. We will always respond, even when we are unseen, and we will continuously offer our support. Our aid may manifest as relief from a harrowing ordeal, or simply as internal comfort and a restoration of spiritual equilibrium. Gratitude is rare, for the goodness in life is often taken for granted, seldom recognized as a gracious gift undeserved by karma, me. Who are the higher powers above these giants, the true rulers of the dark hierarchy? Kyle, the beings you previously envisioned as towering black-robed humanoids resembling spiders. It was no coincidence. Their sway over planetary frequencies is expansive. They align themselves into fractal geometric patterns and recite sorts of anti-mantras. Through this, they weave a web over the earth, blocking the subtle light of the sun and the central sun from reaching the planet. This light is vital for elevating the vibration of the mental field. It's part of the work of us, the solar or fiery hierarchy, and a means of our influence. The central sun's rays should, within a cosmic timescale, ripen humanity's psyche. But just as plants wither without sunlight, so too does your spirituality stagnate when these rays are obstructed. Each spiritually awakened person, one who connects with the spiritual realm, disrupts this web. That's why it's crucial for those incarnate to collaborate with the divine. What you can achieve, we cannot. Without a foothold in the physical realm, our capacity to affect change from the spiritual dimension is limited. There's an intense battle for human souls, and understanding the true nature of this conflict is paramount. As I've seen in my dream, we are losing this battle. What will happen if people remain a flock of sheep and the dark hierarchy assumes total control? A cataclysmic scenario will unfold. Most will perish. Consequently, the nourishment of the dark hierarchy, physical beings, will be decimated, and they will be cast down to a lower dimension, into a sort of outer darkness for a time. The subtle energies of the planet will be cleansed from negative vibrations, allowing higher souls to incarnate and forge a society of elevated spirituality. Why only for a certain time? Titans may always re-emerge from the abyss if the vibrations of the ground dimension deteriorate and create a conducive environment for them. This must always be kept in mind. November 29th, 2019. Understanding my true essence. During periods between sleep and wakefulness, I used to enter a visionary state where I would transform and organize the chaotic thought forms that emerged, as Michael had taught me. I would craft beautiful, harmonious images from these disordered and negative thought patterns. I learned to transform angry faces into serene ones, and aggressive scenes into tranquil vistas of nature. At times, I even created new images that would neutralize the absurd and dark thought forms that surrounded me. Although I don't fully grasp what I'm dealing with or the nature of my actions, I understand the necessity to construct these mental forms and to engage with the mental dimension. It's a form of exercise. Transferring these constructs directly into my dreams has been less successful for me, though I have managed to do so a few times briefly. Alongside this practice, I continue to share my book in a Facebook group. There are those who find what I write very familiar and engaging, while others read with skepticism. And then there are those who are thoroughly annoyed by my writings. This range of responses was somewhat anticipated. Despite receiving fewer critical comments, I often feel bombarded by negative energy after each post, which is exhausting and drains me. At times, it feels as if parts of my soul are being consumed by the readers of my book. Recovery from these sessions can sometimes take a great deal of time. I hadn't anticipated that this simple copy-paste process, with a few introductory remarks, would prove so strenuous and affect me so deeply. Lately, a sense of heaviness plagues my heart, and maintaining a high level of consciousness in my dreams is becoming increasingly challenging. This is compounded by the ceaseless turmoil in the country and the rampant aggression among the people, which seems to manifest in all interactions, whether one is involved in them or not. Before sleeping, I often pray for assistance from the forces of light, yet I feel compelled to confront my challenges alone. Just tonight, before drifting to sleep, I implored Michael to help me maintain his presence has been faint, leaving me feeling isolated and forsaken. To my surprise, I was met with a sudden, palpable sensation of a luminous presence enveloping me with a cloud of love and care. You humans frequently seek help, scarcely realizing that the very situations you wish to flee are crafted for your growth. But that's all right. I have ample patience and will sustain you in your discomfort until the lessons are learned, until you grasp what you must understand. I recognized immediately that this was not Michael speaking to me. It was neither Jesus nor the God of wisdom and light. A deep certainty welled within me that I knew this being, that he was also my master, perhaps my primary master. I delved into my deepest feelings, trying to unearth his face from the depths of my soul's memory, or perhaps his name. Before me, I envisioned a robust man, a figure that had visited my imagination before, and whose likeness I had searched for among photos of gurus on the internet, yet never finding a match. He was unique. His face bore a smile, profoundly wise and immeasurably close. Maitreya. Upon uttering Maitreya, I was struck with the realization that many of the dreams from which I learned and gathered information had been shaped by him. He was the architect of lucid dreams, guiding not only my education, but that of others too. Michael was never solitary in this. I had sensed it, and consequently referred to my spiritual guides as they. The identities within this collective were gradually being disclosed. The joy of this encounter infused me with renewed vigor to continue my self-improvement. Strangely, I can't recall our conversation, the moment sleep overtook me, or the contents of my dream, only that the jarring sound of the alarm clock roused me. It was time to prepare my son for school, and I rose. But upon waking, my perception seemed altered, enriched. I became aware of a previously invisible layer of reality. Specifically, the thought forms I'd been molding in the liminal state between dreaming and wakefulness became visible. My own mental creations overlaid my physical sight. These mental constructions, as Michael termed them, manifested as various images, like witnessing a dream while awake. Glancing at my mobile phone, thoughts of Facebook posts and a friend's vitriolic comment under a political update from the night before surfaced. And just by recalling those words, charged with bitter hatred, a dark, indistinct shape materialized before my eyes. This thought form lacked clear edges. Oddly, it brought to mind the essence of black magic, which also appeared amorphous in my visions. It seems that embodiments of dark energy in the mental realm do not always possess defined forms. Transform, echoed the voice from last night, not in a dream or an altered state of consciousness this time, but as a directive to transform the thought forms associated with the events of my life and to observe the consequences. In response to the thought form born from the angry comment, I conjured up its antithesis, a thought form of joy. I summoned the emotion of joy, and as before in my 2012 encounter with Christ, snow began to fall around me. This time, however, I infused the snow with the energy of divine grace, and it transformed into golden, glittering flakes. They descended softly in the pre-dawn darkness, each flake sprinkling a tiny spark of joy upon whatever it touched. The room ignited with golden sparks, as if I were inside a fairy tale. The dark thought forms, the black shards with their wrenching influence, vanished. Moving to the next room, the golden snow trailed behind me, yet it didn't hinder my preparation of breakfast for my son. The spiritual matter's radiance enveloped me in a delightful mood, which I shared with Maitreya. I could sense his smile. Remember how the same space can be perceived with both high and low consciousness, he seemed to remind me. He directed my attention to a dream that I had overlooked at the time and hadn't documented, although this dream was distinguished by special colors and emotions. In the dream, I found myself standing in the courtyard of an Italian house, the same one where I grew up and spent my childhood. I was alone in the yard, but I was aware that I was waiting for my mother. We were planning to go somewhere together. It was akin to night, quite dark, when suddenly everything around me illuminated. This light, however, didn't emanate from an external source, but from within, from the inside of the surrounding house walls, roofs, and trees. The buildings and trees themselves were aglow, as if the walls of the house had transformed in texture, becoming translucent like gemstones and radiating an internal light that was faint yet strikingly beautiful. From the walls, vibrant yet soft, airy flowers bloomed, resembling those same gemstones, and they too shone, some in hues of blue, others in green, and some in golden tones. I was also imbued with this indescribable beauty from the inside out, and the sensation bestowed such a feeling of lightness that my feet involuntarily lifted off the ground, and I ascended to the rooftops where I played throughout my childhood, which I so dearly cherished, were also transformed. Instead of the old dull red tiles, the roof appeared as a single expanse of chrysolite, emanating a pinkish golden light from within. This inner glow was incredibly striking against the star-filled night sky. I could see that the rooftops were adorned with night-blooming flowers that were just as beautiful, providing a breathtaking view of the city bathed in moonlight. I felt the freedom to fly anywhere I desired, but a pang of sadness touched me. I couldn't share this beauty with anyone. Suddenly, I noticed my mother had entered the yard below and was looking for me. I glided down swiftly and ran toward her, brimming with happiness. "Look! Look!" I called out from a distance. "Look at the beauty!" But my mother looks around and sees nothing out of the ordinary. Surprised, I urge her, "Look how beautiful everything is." She surveys the courtyard again, then gives me a puzzled glance. "It looks the same as always. What's changed?" she asks me. "Look, the flowers that sprouted on the walls, they were shining from within," I insist, and I try to lead my mother to the spot on the wall where I had seen the flowers just moments ago. But to my dismay, I realize that they've vanished. The flowers are gone, and the walls no longer radiate light. Everything is engulfed in darkness again. The smell of cats and dust wafts up from the same old basements. Peeling paint on the aged wooden doors catches my eye. The rickety stairs creak underfoot, and the pockmarked gray asphalt swallows the last gleam of light. A heaviness fills my body like lead again, anchoring me to the ground. My mother looks at me, her expression a mix of surprise and impatience. Finally, she becomes bored with the delay and says, "Let's get going, or the store will be closed." I follow in silence, a bitter lump forming in my throat as I fight back tears. In the midst of this bleakness and despair, I find solace in a single thought. My mother is here with me, my dear mother. I had this dream at a time when I no longer had my mother with me, and even now, after so many years, the memory of the dream remains vivid, stirring within me a mix of contrasting emotions. However, this time I endeavor to dwell on the positive aspects, the vision of the inner light. There I was, back in my kitchen, with my son sitting across from me, sipping tea. Matreya's words echoed in my mind. Remember. Remember. Inspired, I conjured up a thought form of golden rain and attempted to imbue the matter around me with the sense of beauty and perfection that had elevated me in the dream, granting me the power of flight. And to my amazement, the fine substance responded to my will. I perceived that the substance, which underlies physical objects, actually began to shine from within. Or perhaps it always shone, and only now could I see it. The room filled once more with a magical glow, and I was again swept up in that inner spiritual buoyancy that ignites the desire to soar. I shared this vision with Maitreya, harboring a deep wish for this light to permeate the entire country, to dissipate the toxic, dark thought forms of aggression and malevolence in the homes of all its people. I projected this intention toward the country's collective consciousness, visualized the map of Georgia, and set my desire to awaken luminescence. Whether it had any effect, I cannot say. Whether the light from a single person could influence anything or anyone remains unknown, but the experience brought me an indescribable joy. "You were the one who created that dream, weren't you?" I asked Maitreya. "Yes, that and many others," he replied. "I want you, and those who will read your book, to understand that it is the lack of clear vision that confines a person to darkness and despair. It is the inability to perceive that everything, living and inanimate, is intrinsically a source of divine light, love, and joy, for nothing exists outside of God's consciousness. It's this impaired sight that leads people to desperately cling to their loved ones as their source of love, and yet these loved ones will sooner or later leave this life, leaving behind a pain that seems insurmountable and irreplaceable until you transform your very being and realize that death does not exist. There is only eternal existence, the realities crafted within God consciousness, and the sense of returning home that comes with recognizing this. I absorbed his words while simultaneously reminding my son to put on his hat and scarf. My husband would take him to school. My father had also risen, and I returned to the bedroom. The day proceeded in its customary routine. Feeling weary, I lay down. Once again, it began to snow golden flakes before my eyes, and the ordinary objects in the room continued to emit their inner glow. My eyelids grew heavy, and I drifted off to sleep. I realized that I am Michael, and he is within me, just as I am within him. Neither of us is distinctly male or female. We embody the essence of both, contained within ourself. This me has large, transparent wings that allow me to fly anywhere. I soar into the sky, surpass the clouds, and leave the outline of the earth below, experiencing the weightlessness of space. Then, I fold my wings and plummet towards the earth like a meteor, head first, as I cut through the clouds at breathtaking speed and dive into the ocean below. The water greets me as warmly as the air, the sun, the cosmos, and everything around does. I need neither breath nor nourishment. My name is freedom. I leap from the water and ascend to the sky once more, feeling the warm droplets trailing behind me. Again, I accelerate to cosmic velocity, crossing the Earth's boundaries. The ringing of the phone rouses me from my dream. They have the vaccine for Georgie, my mother-in-law informs me. Can someone pick him up from school early for his vaccinations? I address the matter, arranging a taxi and confirming the address to which my son should be taken. Yet my mind lingers in the realm of that dream, and I can still sense Maitreya's presence. He must have something very important to impart. Or is it I who have something to say to him? I must remember. Was it you, the man from my dream, when I envisioned a past incarnation? A robust man who, before I was born into this life, said to me, "You will be born into unfavorable conditions, as a woman in a land seemingly devoid of God's presence. But if you manage to comprehend the true essence of yourself, then was that you, Maitreya?" He confirmed, and I continued. I used to think that understanding one's true essence, what seemed to be the central task of my current incarnation, was realized when I grasped that I am not just a physical body, but a soul. He smiled, and I understood that my answer was akin to a first grader's attempt at solving a senior student's complex problem. But now, I see that's not it. I went on. That wasn't the correct answer. I sought out Michael with my inner vision, yet before my inner sight could find him, my heart connected with his, and once again, I felt the presence of that ever-faithful, constant, patient, forgiving, and loving being. Someone I had an inexplicably profound affection for, as if he were the other half of my soul. This feeling was something I could not rationalize, and I attributed it to my limited human nature. You once asked me about how a person's spiritual structure attains the highest manas. I recalled his words from before, words whose answer now seemed so apparent. "The test is passed," I said. He smiled at me, and I smiled back. Stars fade before the dawn like memories. That which can be named must exist. That which is named can be inscribed. That which is inscribed must be remembered. That which is remembered endures.